One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today. Good morning. All right, I'm trying to decide if I want to put on my sunglasses because it is really bright and I know I'm going to hit some spots that are going to be like super bright. I wanted to take the next 20 minutes because I'm actually leaving Target, headed home. I got a client appointment at 11. But I just want to make you all aware of something that we're seeing in the clinical space, psychological space. Just something that I personally noticed. Being a therapist is my second career, and I've always been very interested in the field of psychology, sociology. So I have a degree in sociology, psychology. And then I have a master's in professional counseling, which allows me to be licensed once I got my 2,000 clinical hours, face-to-face hours. But I've always had an interest in this field, even when I was a school teacher and working with children and studying childhood development. So I kind of feel like all this stuff folds together. That's what's so interesting. I feel like both of my careers kind of fold together because I've always been passionate about children. I've always been passionate about the development of children, human children. That has always been something that has fascinated me. And so I kind of feel like my sociology, psychology, my, elementary school education, all of that stuff kind of blends together. But here's something I want to share with you, and a lot of people are not aware of this, that insecure attachment is on the rise. Good morning. She said, finally caught you live in a long time. Yeah. Insecure attachment style is on the rise. And a lot of you are asking, well, why does that matter? Because, and I'm going to say some things that's controversial. I'm going to say some things that y'all might feel a way about, but I haven't quite figured out a better way to say it or a more politically correct way to say it, but y'all know that ain't me. It ain't me to be politically correct. What does that mean? That means that we are seeing the quality of people go down. I never thought I would believe this or think this, but slowly I'm coming to this conclusion that I'd actually rather see people have less children. I'm slowly coming to terms with the fact that certain people in the world should not procreate. Certain people in the world should not have children, especially if the quality of those children that will one day become adults, if the quality of those people is low, I'd rather they not have children. And so now a bunch of people are going to scream about epigenetics and what's the other thing, the Third Reich and, only putting out certain people with certain physical character. You're going to start screaming about that. And that's not what I'm talking about. It's not racial. It's not based on anything racial. It's just based on the quality of people. I'm noticing the quality of people has gone down. People's ability to be resilient, people's ability to do hard things, be strong, be resilient, be disciplined, be focused. The quality of people has gone down. That's the only way I can explain it. The kindness, the compassion, the communal nature, the wanting to help others, that stuff is starting to go away. To want to put others first, or to, it's better to give than to receive. And just, I'm just noticing that the quality of people is going down. And so when, certain women, feminist women, purple-haired women, septum nose ring women, tattooed covered women, left-wing, woke, liberal women, when those women are talking to me about not having children and not being oppressed by marriage and, I'm not going to be shackled to the home and the children, I'm thinking to myself, okay, like, all right, good. Can I be honest? I'm actually like, yeah, don't have no kids, right? Don't have no kids. Don't get married, because the chances of the quality of those children being incredibly low and being poor and being raised woke and non-binary, and my 2-year-old is non-binary. Yeah, don't bring those kids here. Like, don't do that. The quality of those kids will probably be low. If the woman has a level of ratchetness, if the woman smokes and drinks and goes out half dressed, again, covered in tattoos and cusses and all of this stuff, and if I don't want to have no kids, okay, like, all right, okay. I'm coming to terms with, there are certain people that should not procreate because the quality of their offspring is not good. And that offspring is going to become an adult. Remember, we're going to spend more of our years as an adult than as a child. So that's why it's critical that parents understand you're not raising a good little boy or girl. You're raising a productive citizen. You're raising a healthy, whole adult. That's the goal. But to think that they're going to stay a good little boy or girl, no. The majority of their life will be spent as an adult. And you have to raise your child as such. And when I see women today, and men, I'm not even going to pick on women in this video because y'all keep saying I'm picking on women. When I see men and women come together and they procreate, either the man is not involved, the man has gone about his business, he's not involved. That's a huge strike. That's his biggest strike right there, is his lack of interest in his offspring. That is a huge strike. That he is one half of that child's genetic makeup. He is one half of how that child got here, and he has zero interest in that child. That's problematic just in and of itself. So for the men, it's about what they don't do. But for the women, it's about what they do. Okay? So that's the difference between those two people. For the men, it's the lack of, and for the woman, it's what they're doing that isn't beneficial. That's what I see as a whole when I'm dealing with adults, and even as a school teacher when I was dealing with children. That both of those people, in my opinion, and look, we try to make it like it leans more on the woman because she's she's actively doing something that's causing the downfall of the child overall. No, I think they have just as much weight. The fact that the father is not involved, the fact that he takes no interest in his biological child, I think that has just as much weight as what the woman is actively doing in the child's life. I do. I think both of them are equally responsible for the way that child is turning out. Okay, so let me just say that. So everybody in the room can hear me. I'm not blaming the men. I'm not blaming the women. Both of y'all have equal weight in your child not being the best that they can be. Okay, we got that out of the way. And so, yes, you have a percentage. I didn't say that percentage was the majority. I didn't say that percentage was most, but there's a percentage of men that just walk away. They are not actively in their biological child's life. I don't care what reason you give me, the fact remains the same. You are not actively in the day-to-day raising of your biological child. That in and of itself is going to have a negative effect on your child becoming a productive adult. Okay? Then we have the mom who 95% of the time it does fall on her, which is why I keep telling you women, close your legs, use birth control, use multiple birth control methods. Okay? So you can do all that you can do to not procreate with a man you're either not married to, that you don't even know. Just please prevent pregnancy, because abortion is not birth control. Okay? Abortion is not a form of birth control. So do all you can do to prevent pregnancy and being saddled. And I say that, I don't believe having a child is being saddled, but to y'all, that's how it feels, being saddled with a child or multiple children. Like when I tell y'all, some people are literally brain dead. When I hear a woman say out of her mouth, like, this is how I know there's some mental deficit happening in the minds of certain women. There's an intellectual disability. So either you have been traumatized so much or you have an intellectual disability when you have 3, 4, 5 children and all of those children have different fathers. Like, you just not going to convince me otherwise. That this person does not have some sort of intellectual disability, or you are so severely traumatized that it has caused your intellectual disability. Because, basic knowledge of how babies come into the world, right? That's a basic knowledge. Penis enters vagina and babies pop out of vagina. Like, that's basic knowledge. That's 101, sexuality class, right? Sex education class is when penis goes in the vagina, out of the vagina comes a baby. And the fact that you're doing that over and over and over again with multiple men, like, something is not registering in your brain. Something is off in your mind. And it's serious. It needs to be studied. Okay? And, and you say it so callously. Oh, they all have different dads. Oh, I gave every man I was with a baby. Like, that needs to be studied on a high level. Like, what is happening inside of your mind? But again, the culture gives us some answers. Like, we've accepted this behavior. Just 50, 60 short years ago, that behavior was completely unacceptable. It was completely shunned in our communities. But now, it's like, okay, sis, and you throw baby showers for every single baby. Every single baby, every single unwed pregnancy and birth, you throw baby showers and gender reveals. And it's completely accepted. So the culture, unfortunately, has made what was completely unacceptable acceptable. Okay, so that in and of itself needs to be studied. Like, we need a clinical study on this. Like, I want to get a grant. I want to get a grant to do that study, y'all. I want to understand what is going on in the mind of a woman that has 3 or more children and all those children have different fathers. Like, I want to understand it. I want a clinical study. Anyway, so now when people come to me and they say, I don't want to have children, and I know you're pro-marriage and pro-children and all of this, but you know what I've come to realize? I'm pro-marriage and pro-children for people that got sense. I'm pro-marriage and pro-children for people who are financially stable, are somewhat educated, are emotionally stable, right? I'm pro-marriage and pro-children for people who have a measure of success in life. Because anybody else that keeps procreating, all they're doing is putting low quality people out into the world. So can I be frank? I'd rather see the population go down and the quality of people go up. So you take that with that information what you will, you imply with it what you will, but that's what I'm really strongly like coming to that realization. We're putting out all of these insecurely attached, traumatized, wounded people into the world whose parents were addicts, alcoholics, whose parents were emotionally unavailable. And like I said, the homes that I'm seeing now, they're not even just broken homes, meaning mom and dad were never married or are divorced. No. These homes are next level broken. These homes are next level broken because, as I stated on my platform before, the single mom of 1970 is different than the single mom of today. Dr. Ben Carson, his mother was a single mother, and she produced 2 college-educated, high-level sons, one of them a neurosurgeon, who performed one of the first operations. What are you doing, sir? Wait. One of the first operations to divide conjoined twins. See? So she was a single mom back in the 60s, 50s, 60s. And she produced 2, not 1, 2 high-level, educated black men, okay? And put them out in the world to make a difference for you and me. So 1960s, 1970s single mom is not today's single mom. Okay? This is some next level dysfunction that we are seeing. And look, even my story. People hear my story and they're like, oh, you're a single mother. I'm like, yeah, I got divorced and I raised my children 90% of the time. They were with me. Their dad lived out of state. He did visit and they visited him. But 90% of their needs were met by me. So even as little as 20 years ago, single moms were different then. But now, you got a next level single mom. These single moms today, okay, not only are they not raising their kids with faith, not raising their kids with values and morals, not raising their kids with high standards or education, they're not raising their kids at all. They got their sister, maybe their mama, maybe Miss Shirley down the street. They got all these other people. They're not raising their kids at all. They're not bonded to their kids. They're not breastfeeding their kids. They're not taking care of no. They got other people involved, or their boyfriend. They got all these people involved in the raising of their children. They got all kinds of issues. And I mean, these kids are broken. These kids are wounded. There is no secure attachment figure at all. They don't have a clue what their day-to-day life is going to even be like. We have more disorganized, fearful, attached people than ever. Because they are just like, I never knew what to expect. I never knew who I could rely on or depend on. I never had anybody in my life that was stable and secure and was there day to day, just doing day to day life. I never had that. It was always something new, always something different. I never knew when I got up in the morning, would I eat, would I go to school, would I do this? What they did, just never knew. And you have to understand that being raised like that as a child makes a disorganized adult. They don't have a clue how to relate. They don't have a clue how to be in a healthy relationship. They don't have a clue how to communicate. They don't know how to resolve conflict. They don't know how to use words. They don't know how to, put their feelings to words. It's just a big mess. A lot of these people can't hold down a job because, again, there's no secure attachment figure. There's no, this is what we do day to day to day to day. They don't know what that is. So they don't know how to show up and be consistent at work. They don't know how to have healthy relationships. Their relationships thrive in chaos and trauma. These are the people that we are putting out into the world over and over and over again. And now we got a lot of moms that just abandon their children. They abandon their children. Other people are raising their children. You got some single dads out there that step up and they take their children. But y'all have to understand the brokenness that happens in a child when they are abandoned by their own mother. Do you know the closest thing on earth to unconditional love is the mother to her child? But you mean to tell me the person who carried me in their body, the person who carried me around for 9 months in their body, don't want me? The love has grown cold. Like the Bible has predicted all of this. There is no maternal instinct anymore. I cannot tell you in the last month, and I mean, it literally makes my jaw drop. I have to really watch myself in session now. But I can't tell you in the last month how many women have told me, and I mean, they use these words now, we're in session and they're married, they're in the session with their partner, their husband and their wife or their whatever. They're in session and they're talking about the birth of their child. They're talking about going back to work right after the birth of the child, or they're talking about how, oh no, I can't be at home. I can't be with my child all the time. I will go crazy. I can't breastfeed. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. These women are talking about their child like this. I can't even imagine being with my child all day. I can't even imagine being with my child, breastfeeding my child or being with my child. I'm thinking, why on earth did you have a child? What is happening that you are talking about your child like this? Oh no, I can't do that. I got to go back to work. I can't be bothered. I'm like, wow. And because our society, I got to wrap this up, y'all. Got to get upstairs. Because our society no longer, see, this is the most dangerous part about our society. Two things. This is how I know we're going down, down, down. Number one, I spoke on this the other day, is the nature of women. The fact that women have become completely immoral. That's how we know that the West will fall. Women are completely immoral. They do things worse than men. It's just abominable. It's an abomination. So that's the first way we know that something really awful is coming. But the second way we know is when we do not seek to protect, we do not seek to care for the most vulnerable people in our society, and that is children. When we no longer focus on the needs of children, when we no longer do what's in the best interest of the child, we're in trouble. When we make it all about the mother or the father or, my work and my this and my that and my self-care and all this other crap, and we don't do what's best to raise up good, happy, healthy, emotionally stable children, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. People are having kids now like it's some sort of accessory. People are utilizing surrogacy. People are utilizing fertility treatments. Y'all are using children like it's this on-demand resource for you to tap into. That's incredibly problematic. Very problematic. And that was my concern about this stuff all along. It's just like dating apps. You're going to turn children into a commodity. You're going to make it something that you acquire. I want a kid. So now we got same-sex couples. I want a kid, and I have to utilize surrogacy or fertility treatment, because guess what? God made it so that we needed something from a man and something from a woman. Which is why y'all are never going to argue me down about my Lord. My Lord designed all of this. He created all of this in his perfect plan for us as humans. He knew exactly what he was doing. Men can never leave women alone, and women can never completely leave men alone. We need each other. And if you're a same-sex female couple, you're going to need what men produce, period, point blank. You cannot self-impregnate yourself. And men, if they are same-sex couple, you're going to need the whole woman's body. Like, you're going to not only need the egg, you're going to need a whole woman's body to incubate the baby. So, what are we doing? We are completely out of order, completely out of God's great design. And you think that we're somehow successful. That's why I keep telling people, we're not successful. None of this is working out. I can't believe y'all are so delusional as to believe that we are doing so good. We are so successful. No, we're not. None of this is working out well. Okay? She said, great discussion. A lot of people today are out of their mind and have their priorities backwards. Completely. Hermetic Claw 888 says, no need for study when you know that programming works. Yeah, about the single moms. Y'all, I'm serious, y'all. Y'all think I'm joking. I need $100,000 grant to study this. What happened? What broke in a woman's brain that she would want to have 4 and 5 kids and each of them have a different daddy? Lord, all right, I got to go. It's 11 o'clock. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. Be mindful. We're not putting out quality people anymore. I think that's a thing of the past. It's rare. I'm not saying at all, but it's rare. So the low quality people, I don't want them to procreate. I don't want them to have no kids. And so sometimes people be overhearing me say, well, why you tell so don't do that? I said, man, because that's not going to make no quality people. That's not going to make no quality people. It's certain people. I'm sorry. That's not going to breed no quality people into the world. So I got to say, yeah, maybe that's for the best. Maybe that's for the best. You're going to hear me tell some people that. And that's really what I mean. That you're not going to put out a quality person into the world. So why bother? So anyway, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining. And as always, stay open to love.